this is our second video. You see our little fat heads in the background. Like,
Pax,
the small one is really into it.
We have Pax, Ryder, and Lyric.
Yep, our little boy band. We're headed to a couple of retro places, and we're gonna just see what they have. Maybe for resale, maybe for
personal,
mostly personal, but we're just gonna check it out and see what we got out there today. Again, we're still new at this. This is our second video. Let's see what we can get into today.
The first place we're gonna stop is Games for Less in Tallahassee, which is pretty much everything games. And we typically like to look for the 64 games, GameCube games, and I recently got a DS, so I want to look for some Game Boy games because it supports my Game Boy too. So yeah, that's where we're going first. Okay, so we're at Games for Less, and we're gonna go in here. They do recommend your mask, so if you go right now, you're gonna want to bring a mask. And we're just gonna kind of look around. Yeah, I see it. That's really cool. I have the Atari over there. Pax, come look at the Atari. Down there.
Is that like original?
Yeah.
No, I don't like the orange one.
I like the orange one too. Looks really neat.
Cool. 100.
A lot of the games they have. I want to get one of these where we can play these games. I think that's one of the only older systems that we don't really have.
Thank you.
Look at all these. There's some DS games.
Mario. That one looks cool. I always like that because it always looks cool. So you make your own option course for Mario. It's like Super Mario Bros. But you make your own.
Yeah. Oh, they have a lot of loose DS games too. Here's our section. This is our stuff, ain't it, babe? Yeah, there's 2 donkeys. That's pretty cool. Oh, Lyric saying cheese. There's the Animaniacs that's really hard to find now for like $150.
It's Harry Potter?
Yeah, it is Harry Potter. Which one of these did we not have? Batman Forever?
Yeah, but that one's at the other place.
It's at the Goodwill.
Yeah. Nothing popping up to me that I'm really...
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of pops and stuff here too. Xbox games. It's pretty much, you know, GameStop, but with cooler, older stuff. They also sell like Retrons and different machines that play older games too if you don't have the original. I like looking down here. The Disney skateboard game looks kind of fun. Rugrats. A lot of Scorpion Kings. Little Lyric trying to find something to play too. This is a really awesome store, and I definitely recommend we come here pretty often. I actually paused the video for a second to ask them about a Retron that we bought here that plays a Sega system, and we actually found an old school Sega, so we didn't need it anymore, and they will buy it off of you for a lot better prices than a GameStop would. Yeah, we do shop kicks, and I'll leave a link below. If you want to do shop kicks, you can click on the link and then start your own account. But you basically just scan stuff in like Walmarts and Targets and dollar stores, and pretty much there's a whole bunch of stores on there that you can use, and you get points for everything that you scan, and when you get a certain amount of points, you can trade it in for gift cards or even PayPal money, which is really awesome when you do stuff like this, because every little bit counts, and you know, he's really avid on it. We both do it every morning, but he does it a lot more than I do at other stores. I typically just do the Walmart after I drop the kids off at school, but it adds up and it helps. We've actually paid bills with it before, phone bills and things like that, so it's a really good thing to maybe look into, and I'll definitely drop a link in it.
So right here you have like where we're scanning stuff, like you find the item, and then there's the item, and then you scan it, and then you'll see the EA points. So it's just a little easy thing to do. You know, you ain't got to do it every single day, but it does help you out a lot. So, you know, extra gift cards, extra little money, who wouldn't want to do that, right? All right, the journey continues.
All right, we're at Goodwill, and we had a couple games we got here. There's a little, like, computer Goodwill, like, where they have, like, games and...
In Tallahassee.
In Tallahassee. It's part of another Goodwill, but it's its own section. And we bought a couple retro games for the PlayStation 2. We had Kingdom Hearts, and we had...
Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget. Don't know anything about that, so I just thought it would have been cool for PS1. And neither one play. So they were kind enough, hopefully, they said before, that even though we didn't keep the receipt, that you can tell that we bought it from here, they're going to allow us to return it. So we're going to go in there, return it, see what kind of retro-y games we can find to exchange for it.
We'll probably pick up something else. But they sell, it's a computer store, but they sell different game systems. A lot of older systems. They had some original, like, Nintendos and stuff in there. I think a week ago when we came in here, there was a bunch of them. So we're going to go in and try to trade these in for store credit and maybe pick up something else. Here's the computer store, the outside of the Goodwill, and then there's the actual store next door. So we're going to go in here and see if they'll let us do store credit for the ones that didn't work on our system. This is really cool. We have older systems here too.
This is really cool. Not necessarily because I would use it, but no, like you could like make it into something, I don't know, decorative piece. Just cool.
That is pretty cool.
I mean, I wouldn't tear it up or nothing.
You can get it.
It would be a cool piece.
Yeah. Our nostalgia kicking in, buying stuff we don't need.
Just set off, you know.
This stuff's really cool. Like there's a lot of PlayStation 2 games. We have a couple of systems: the 64, the PlayStation 2. We have the Sega, like the original one with the volume button on it. Like I said, I just recently bought the DS, but I have the DS Lite, so it's compatible with Game Boy games. They did let us trade in those 2 games for store credit. And make sure that you have the receipt if you ever have to do that, because they pretty adamant about you having a receipt. But I traded it in for a Game Boy game and a Sega game. So this section over here is pretty cool. Like, I really like all the old Ataris and stuff. And they actually have a section where you can set up and play certain games. I think Johnny just took a video of Paxton playing, so it keeps him occupied while we shop. He just found what I was looking at. So we shall see what we end up leaving with. So we just left the computer store. It was kind of weird videoing in there because they didn't seem too friendly about it. So we videoed what we could, and now we're going over here to the actual Goodwill store.
We're trying to get the idea of like how other people have filmed in stores. It's kind of awkward. We both have social anxiety. Like,
having social anxiety and going into stores trying to video is weird, especially when they look at you like you're a crazy person and you're trying to like steal their stuff. But here we're going into the other Goodwill now, and let's see if we find anything in here.
Hi, we're back here for a second video. Filmed a few things today, and we'll get into that real quick. But wanted to point out in that first video, I did refer to the whole segment as Retro Rewind, but that's taken. So we're trying to be as original as possible. So we went with Romano's rabbit hole of retro and nostalgia. Trying to be as clear about not trying to overtake anybody else's namesake. So, you want to take over? Have anything to say on what we did?
Well, we just changed our name basically because we go down a bunch of rabbit holes. Like we have wrestling and video games, and I have an insane amount of randomness behind me because we go down rabbit holes of like trying to collect them all. We went down the wrestling with the Hasbros, and we had to get all of them. So that's typically why we changed it, because you never really know what we're gonna say or do on here. I flip things, so I can start with the stuff that I got to flip. We found this at one of the Goodwills that we went to today. It is Christmas Tinkerbell Snow Globe, sings or does the music for Deck the Halls. I paid $4 for this, and they typically, there's not one specifically like this on Mercari, which is where I normally sell. But there are similar ones, same company, same size, for anywhere from $20 to $50. I probably won't sell this for more than like $25, just because I don't try to ask outrageous amounts for stuff. But I do want to make a profit, which is why I do it. I don't work. I stay home with my kids, and he works, but we try to do this kind of stuff on the side just to kind of help out a little bit. It gives us extra money to spend on the fun stuff that we buy and put in our house.
Stuff like that will stay on her shelf for right now, and it'll be cool until it does sell.
Yeah.
So that's part of it.
I got this too. This one's kind of weird and old. You can see I paid $2.99 for it, but it is just an old like.
We know nothing about.
I didn't know a lot about it. It's copyright the Rushton Company. And it says that on both shoes. Zip. If you look up on Mercari, if you Google any of this or look on Mercari, Monkey Zip, it'll pop up these. There's a few of them that are in better condition that are being sold for upwards of like $120. And then there's some. The least amount that I think is listed right now is one for $66. There's another one for $67. Doesn't even have the overalls. This is a complete. The $66 one doesn't have the hat, but this one does. The hat is kind of dirty, but for somebody who wants these, and obviously they're vintage enough where people want to pay $60+ for. I probably won't post this for more than $50. If that, and if it doesn't sell for $50 within the next month, I'll lower the price then too. So it's just kind of a hit and miss on those kind of things. I'm sitting on some things that I bought that I thought was going to sell pretty quickly. I have 3 VCRs. You get a lot of interest in the VCRs, but they haven't sold yet. So it's just kind of I don't like spending a lot of money on these things, but if I think I can make a profit, I'll buy it and post it on Mercari or Marketplace. I don't sell on eBay right now because I'm just not there yet.
To point out, like a lot of times when we're doing this, we're not necessarily resellers, but if you can like go on your way and find some cool retro stuff and say, hey, can I sell this to be able to buy this, and be in the black in the end, that's kind of the ultimate goal. So you say everything we spent today was maybe $30, $40, and if she's able to sell those two things, then everything we bought today was free or a little bit to the game. So we went to a gaming store in Goodwill. You'll see that earlier if we're able to, tie all that in. To return some games that didn't work, they have like a little gaming store at this specific Goodwill in Tallahassee. And they were nice enough to let us trade. We didn't have a receipt, but they knew us. So for the 2 video games that we had, which were a PlayStation 1 and a PlayStation 2 game, it was Inspector Gadget and Kingdom Hearts. We were able to actually get a good amount of stuff. First game we got here was Crash Bandicoot. What is that one?
It's a Crash game that I can play on my DS Lite. They had them for fairly reasonable prices. One was $4.99, and this is Crash Bandicoot's Huge Adventure. I don't think that I've played this, but I do have a Bandicoot game on my GameCube, and I have one On my Xbox one as well, I got the remake of it's got 1, 2, and 3, I think, on there. But we also got...
So we got this one. We're like, when we call it a rabbit hole, like, we may never play this.
I'll play it.
But here's the thing, when you see the last two, we got these Sega games. We really like Sega games. We like how they look, and especially the ones where cases, and we got one with a case. You'll see that. She's big into Batman, so it could go in, like, as she plays it, and it's like, it's trash, she could just put it in her collection. If it's really cool, we can leave it to actually play periodically, but she has almost all of those. So the next one, we had like a little extra funding, and I figured, like, the guy was like, look, you either got to use it or you lose it. So we're like, all right, fine, we'll get it. And I remember this game, I never played it, but I remember seeing it, like, as a kid, and it being a pretty popular game. It's based off of the music of Aerosmith. I think you actually play as Steven Tyler. I could be wrong.
It's really cool. I've never played it. I have seen it before, but I'm not 100% sure how it works. So we'll pop that in later and play it. This one was $7.99. It was actually the most expensive thing we got, but like he said, if we didn't use all of our store credit, we weren't able to come back and use it again later. Like, we had to use it all today, or we couldn't use it at all.
And if you look at it, like, to me, I don't think you get better than the Sega Genesis
cases
games. Like, that's why, like, these are more, they're not as collectible because people actually kept this. You didn't keep the Nintendo boxes because they usually got crushed. That's why they're more valuable. But these just display so nice, you know. And to me, that right there, just that's 90s.
We have
right
a pretty good bit of these in the case, but I do have some looser ones like the Batman. But we have the Sega case that you pull out and slide them in. So this is actually still has a little poster inside of it. It looks pretty run down, so hopefully it plays and we don't have to go back. But we got one more.
We got one more, and if anybody wants to tell me about these, the little yellow tab, I know very little about, like, what the part of, like, why these were a thing on the Sega Genesis games. I got this because we had a little bit of funding left, and it was either use it or lose it, and we actually ended up going over like $1 or so. But my logic was, this is a very 90s game, but it's from what I remember, there's even an episode of a show called Fresh Off the Boat where the kid wants this game so bad, and then it ends up being trash. But, you know, Shaquille O'Neal is a kung fu master. I mean, come on.
Really?
That's exactly what the game is.
That'll be fun to play later too.
I'm sure it's trash. I'm sure I will play it one time, maybe twice, and we'll never play it again. But I'm glad to have it, and it'll be good in the collection.
That is pretty funny. And it was only a couple dollars too. Like I said, I think the most that we paid for anything was the boxed Aerosmith one, and that was only $7.99, so it wasn't too bad. The only other thing, well, I say that we my son, since we got our VCR DVD combo, has been super excited about finding old VHS tapes. So we got some Ninja Turtles and Riddler, and that was for me, the American Tail. I love that movie. He found DuckTales, some Sonic, some Roger Rabbit, some Power Rangers, which was really cool. But, I mean, this is just a few.
I really love this cover of the Pink Ranger kicking a Christmas tree.
And there's the Black Ranger. Happy birthday, Zach. So he is like chomping at the bit to be able to watch these. But right now, my 5-year-old is over there watching Fun and Fancy Free on VHS because he is the same. That we have all these streaming channels, and they're over here on our tube TV watching VHS tapes.
We got several more. We won't show all of them, but a lot of the clamshells. But
we did get a lot of clamshells.
My 10-year-old is, I don't know why, very much into the VHSs. I guess it's good because that way, you know, when you're not so dependent on technology when the power goes out. Well, the power goes out, you still can use it. But when the internet goes out, it's something to where they can just watch it over there on the VCR. And you hear my son in the background that won't shut up. But that was just something extra that my wife and my oldest son are doing together. Earlier in the video, again, if it's able to get in there depending on time, we went to Walmart after the computer store, and we do this little app called Shopkicks that, if we can, we'll leave a link below to where you go and you scan stuff, and you don't have to buy anything. You don't have to. And it's like a scavenger hunt, but it helps to fund this nostalgic retro habit to where you can get gift cards. You can even get PayPal, which is basically actual cash.
Yeah.
And they have rebates. So this is one of the items we just got.
Yeah, basically Shopkicks wants you to buy everything. So you walk around and you're scanning items, and it shows you items, that you may not know about, or maybe, whatever. And it tries to be like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool, I'll buy that. And you get extra points for actually buying the item and then scanning your receipt after you've purchased it. So not only did I get the scans for this, but I got a purchase for this, because who doesn't like some peachy hand soap? And we'll put that by the kitchen. But I got 250 points for just buying that. And I think it wasn't but like $2 to buy.
Right.
So it ended up being, I think after, it probably only costed me $1 after the points that I get back from it. So not only is it kind of like its own coupon, but
they add up, and then you eventually, like, if you ain't checking it, you just kind of do it.
I think I have $25 saved up right now,
Right.
and he's closer to 50, I think.
Right.
So we'll cash that out probably, at the end of the month, and if we have to pay a bill with it, or
towards the nostalgic retro
towards any
habit.
of this stuff, it just helps all together because you can send it directly to PayPal. But yeah, I want to go ahead and apologize ahead of time because some of the video might be kind of splotchy. The game store Goodwill, the computer part, the guy seemed a little bit sketchy about us videoing in there, but so that's kind of weird. He just kept staring at me.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out. We watched a lot of the videos, and again, we both have social anxiety, so it's when we're trying to talk and what we're looking at, it's almost like they're huddled over us, or of course people are around us, and we got this weird thing where if there's like more than 2 people around us, we're like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure that out.
Somebody walking up behind us, we get
get up the nerve for this, but so again, we're just figuring these things out, and again, we're having fun. That's all it's about. And we thank of everybody who's already subscribed, and we're up to about 50. Which, hey, in 24 hours, I guess ain't that bad.
Yeah.
We appreciate everybody that's watching the videos.
Happy Labor Day.
Happy
This
Labor
was
Day.
a day in the life of what we do on our weekends, basically. We didn't go anywhere Saturday or Sunday, but we decided to go do our shop kicks and then kind of look around and ended up coming back with more VHS tapes than I think that we anticipated. But
if you have any
our
ideas,
kids will have a really good time.
If you have any ideas for anything, any kind of like concepts, please
If you'd
leave
like
in the
a more
comments.
in-depth video on shop kicks, we
What
can
you
do
like,
that
what you
too.
don't like, give us some ideas. As every video you hear, like, subscribe, leave a comment, all that good jazz, and we'll try to keep up with some more content. If you have any ideas for anything, please let us know. Thanks.
Bye.